Jai Shri Radhe. Sab Vaishnavan ko Jai Shri Krishna. Continuing with our stories of the 252 Vaishnava disciples of Sri Gosaiji. Today is day 241, Varta 246, the story of Yadvendra Das, a Kshatriya from Agra. Bhav Prakash. This is a devotee of Rajasi disposition. In the eternal Leela, his name is Yadavi, who manifests from Chandrabhaga, and is thus a personification of her divine loving sentiment. Part 1. Yadvendra Das lived in Agra. He knew Sant Dasji. He travelled to Adel and supplicated Sri Gosaiji, "O Maharaj, please bless me by initiating me with the Lord's name." Sri Gosaiji told him to go and bathe. After Yadvendra Das had bathed and presented himself to Sri Gosaiji, then Sri Gosaiji blessed him by initiating him with the Lord's name. Afterwards, he also granted him Brahmasambandh initiation, and Yadvendra Das made a donation to him. Thereafter, Yadvendra Das stayed in Adel for a few more days. He supplicated Sri Gosaiji, "O Maharaj, my heart's desire is to serve the Lord. Please tell me what to do." Sri Gosaiji was pleased to employ him in his service. Yadvendra Das always pleased Sri Gosaiji with his service, and Sri Gosaiji rewarded him with instruction in the hidden teachings of the path of grace. He also revealed to him in detail the inner meanings of the Karika verses written by Sri Acharyaji in his Sri Subodhaniji. When Sri Gosaiji went to have the holy sight of Srinathji, then Yadvendra Das accompanied him. They stayed together a lot. Part 2. Once, when the two of them were travelling together, Sri Gosaiji was taking rest, and Yadvendra Das saw the vision of Sri Swaminiji and Sri Govardhanaji lying together with their arms around each other's necks. Yadvendra Das had the holy sight of their divine adornments and their loving and laughter-filled conversations with each other. Bhav Prakash. This informs us that Sri Gosaiji embodies both the female and male aspects of the Lord. He graced Yadvendra Das by allowing him this vision. Part 2 continued. Yadvendra Das was stunned. He pondered on the vision, trying to comprehend its essence. Then Sri Gosaiji woke up and asked Yadvendra Das, "Why do you look so surprised?" Yadvendra Das supplicated, "O Maharaj Adiraj, today I had this vision." Sri Gosaiji smiled. In this way he used to grace Yadvendra Das. There are many such tales told about Yadvendra Das. He also wrote some padas describing these holy sight experiences of Sri Gosaiji and Sri Govardhanaji. When it was Sri Gosaiji's appearance day, he wrote Pada Rag Devgandhar. Bliss fills every house in Gokul today, for the Lord, repeat with highest bliss, has appeared in Gokul on this 9th day of the dark half of the month of Posh. The full moon of the lineage of Sri Vallabh has arisen. For the sake of the devotees he has assumed a human body, most beautiful, a source of great bliss. All over the land the Vraja ladies are dancing and singing sweetly, says the poet Yado. Sri Vitthalaji has appeared to disperse the grief of worldly wranglings. He composed many such songs, describing his Leela experiences. This above-mentioned song he sang in Sri Gosaiji's proximity, and Sri Gosaiji was happy to hear it. After this, Yadvendra Das wrote this song for the occasion of Sri Krishna's appearance day. Rag Dhanashri. Yashoda has given birth to a lovely son. Bliss has filled the whole town of Gokul, and the ladies of Braj have come to welcome the lad with the forehead anointment and gifts. For this they bring rice, dhruv grass and gorochan, and they anoint Nanda Baba's forehead with yogurt. The gopis surrender with their veils spread forwards, and gaze up at his face and lotus eyes which fill the heart with love. All the inhabitants now come out of their homes wearing pink clothes in celebration. Yadvendra Das now sings, "This boy is the protector of all Vraja, whom Kamsa fears, knowing him to be his doom." Yadvendra Das sang this as Sri Gosaiji was applying the sacred forehead mark to the Lord on the holy celebration day. Sri Gosaiji was most pleased to hear it. Yadvendra Das continued to write such songs through his life, and the eternal Leela was established in his heart, and he wrote the poems accordingly. Sri Govardhanaji graced him with his personal experience. Thus concludes Varta 246, the story of Yadvendra Das Kshatriya, who was the recipient of Sri Gosaiji's great grace and an accomplished Vaishnava. There is no end to his tale. Varta 247, the story of Govind Swami, Sanodya Brahmin, who lived in Mahavan and who was one of the Ashtachap poets. Bhav Prakash. Govind Swami is the manifestation of Sri Krishna's friend in the eternal Leela named Sri Sri Dharma. He has this form during the daytimes, and at night he is Bhama Saki, a Saki of Sri Chandravali. Govind Swami is highly attached to Sri Gosaiji. Bhama Saki manifests from Vishakaji and is thus a personification of her Sattvic divine loving sentiment. Govind Swami used to live in Antali village. There everyone addressed him as Swami, and he had disciples. However, he was a dedicated devotee with good qualities. He moved from Antali to Vraj, and he settled in Mahavan, thinking, "This is the land of Vraj, which can ensure the attainment of the Lord's lotus feet." He was a very skilled poet and composed many songs. If any individual learnt one of his compositions and went to sing it in the presence of Sri Gosaiji, then Sri Gosaiji would reward them with prasad, as well as being very happy to hear them. One such singer came to Govinda Swami and told him, "I sang one of your padas before Sri Gosaiji in Gokul, and he was so happy and gave me prasad. Please teach me more of your compositions." When Govind Swami heard this, he thought to himself, "Sri Gosaiji lives in Gokul, but I have not yet had the chance to meet him." Some days passed. One day, one of Sri Gosaiji's disciples came to Sri Vrindavan for some purpose, and through the will of the Lord, he and Govind Swami met. Govind Swami and that Vaishnava sat in an isolated spot and were discussing the Lord's divine pastimes, when Govind Swami said, "How can one know when a happening is a direct manifestation of the Lord's play?" The Vaishnava replied, "I will tell you later." Govind Swami replied, "I have been desperately trying to find this out for a long time. Now you say you will tell me later. Will we be then able to be in such an isolated location? Please therefore tell me now." When the Vaishnava saw how desperate Govind Swami was to get the answer, he said, "Nowadays it is Sri Gosaiji and Sri Vithalnathji. Sri Gosaiji Sri Vithalnathji who has Sri Thakurji captivated. You can get to attain the lotus feet of the Lord through Sri Gosaiji's auspices. Trying to take shelter in any other is a waste of time." Hearing these words, Govind Swami's anxiety to meet the Lord increased even further, and he became most enthused. Govind Swami requested the Vaishnavas to accompany him to go to see Sri Gosaiji. The two of them slept the night in the place where they were, and they set off together early the next morning, and soon arrived in Gokul. At that time, Sri Gosaiji had made the lunchtime offerings to Sri Thakurji and was doing his Trikal Sandhya prayers on the banks of Sri Yamunaji. The Vaishnava pointed him out to Govind Swami. When he saw Sri Gosaiji, Govind Swami thought to himself, "He seems to be making a lot of effort in ritual activities for the sake of gaining merit. Why would Sri Thakurji be close to him?" He pondered upon this in his mind. Sri Gosaiji then completed his prayers and said, "O Govinda Das, when did you get here?" He replied, "O Master, I have just arrived." Sri Gosaiji then set off for the temple, and Govind Swami followed him. Govind Swami was thinking, "He had never ever seen me before, so how did he know me? There must be a reason for this." Sri Gosaiji was in the temple to accept back the offerings as Mahaprasad. Then the door to the temple were opened, and Govind Swami had the holy sight of the Rajbhog Arti. Sri Gosaiji afforded him the sight of Sri Thakurji's love-filled pastimes as a child and his nectarian form. This was Sri Gosaiji's grace-filled gift to Govind Swami at that very time. Sri Gosaiji then exited from the temples. Govind Swami approached him and supplicated, "O Maharaj, you hide your real identity. Here the Lord himself directly reigns. On the exterior you perform the scriptural rituals of the Vedas." Sri Gosaiji spoke out to him, "This is the path of devotion. It is a flower, whilst those actions are the thorns that protect that flower." Bhav Prakash. Flowers cannot remain in blossom without some protection. The Vedic rituals are the thorny hedges that protect the flowers of devotion. Without the boundary fence of those Vedic rituals, the flowers of devotion cannot be generated, and flowers would not be able to blossom at all. This devotion should be kept very secret. Its external visible form is in these rituals. We pause here from the reading today and will continue tomorrow with part 1 of Govind Swami, the son of dear Brahmin from Mahaban. Sab Vaishnavan ko Jai Shri Krishna. Shri Shri Ras Biharini Jo ki Jai. Aaj ke Anand ki Jai. Shri Vallabhacharya Shri Gosaiji ki Jai ho. Jai Jai Shri Radhe.